Hey everyone, welcome back to Find Joy with Jen. I have one of my friends, Taylor Fedorenko, soon to be Taylor Stokes, on the pod. I'm so excited to have you here, Taylor. How are you?
I'm good, girl. We're 30 days out from the wedding, and oof, I am feeling it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell me a little bit about like where your head's at. Like what are you feeling right now?
Oh my gosh. I go through these waves of feeling like I have it together. And then, on Sunday, I'm like bawling my eyes out. Like, what am I doing? Um, and I think things can take a turn when you put your mindset behind, like, why are you doing this? And leaving it has to be perfect. You know what I mean? So feeling that support from Tim, my fiance, has been huge throughout the process.
So how do you feel like you're able to overcome perfectionism?
It's hard with social media. Um, I have vowed to give up Instagram actually after the wedding and probably like slightly after the honeymoon because obviously like I want to post pictures, but it's hard because when you think, when you're planning a wedding and I think from my experience and from my friends' experiences, what do? You go on Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram. The weddings that I'm looking at are probably in like the 200K plus range, right? I have an allotted amount, and I feel like that brings a comparison to the kind of, to the table. But backing up to just social media in general, it can be a powerful tool, but I think perfectionism can be a taint or can, how do I phrase this? Perfectionism can be managed by getting to the root reason of why you're getting married. It's not to have the prettiest wedding. It's not to get the most expensive dress. I am marrying the love of my life, and I am going to be a Stokes, which means that I don't only get him, but I get his four brothers. I get his mom. I get their whole side of the family. And so that takes me back to like the root of why we're doing this in the first place. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I think I can definitely relate considering I'm also getting married in
Yes.
less than 6 months now, which is so crazy. So, wait, when is your date exactly? It's 30 days from today.
30 days from today, it's June 7th.
How serendipitous is that we're meeting
I
together on the
know.
podcast today exactly 30 days before you get married? Like, I think that's
So
so
crazy.
wonderful. And I think that's such like a sign from the universe. And hopefully, this is a cathartic experience for you.
Yeah, I pay attention to the signs and to the kismet and flow of things. And I believe if you let things flow, they will flow. And it kind of goes hand in hand with like surrendering, right? I've had to practice that a lot. I think the perfectionism and the controlling and, the comparison, and then you just breathe, you remember, and then you surrender. And then it's like, oh, my body's calm again. But yeah, it is very kismet. I woke up very excited this morning to chat with you.
I love that so much. So, okay, let's back up a little bit. First, tell viewers a little bit about how you met Tim.
Oh my gosh. There is a long version of this story and a short version. I will tell the short version. I'll keep it PG, but basically, it's a really beautiful story from his end, and it was kismet from my end. So I was supposed to go home to Sacramento. We were both living in the Bay Area. I had a few friends inviting me out from a friend that I met from EDC like 2 years prior. They had VIP tickets to Carl Cox, and I was like, oh, one of my best friends going, sure, I'll go. And Tim actually got invited by one of his friends, and his friend did something. And because Tim chose to forgive him, and his friend was like going to treat him out that night, they talked it out. He went out, and there we were at the Midway seeing Carl Cox. And I had just gotten out of a relationship, like on and off. It was like a 2.5 year relationship. I was single for 4 months. And I was like, I'm having hot girl summer. Like, I want to have the time of my life because I had so much healing to do from that past relationship. I think that all got shattered when I looked in the crowd and I saw Tim, and like there was literally a girl who had glitter and it was flying. And I felt like I was in a movie and my heart stopped and I was like, he is so cute.
Oh my God. I literally just got the chills.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this is so wild, but you already know we have so much in common.
Yeah.
We've talked about that so many times.
It's crazy that we've like reconnected too after going to college together. Like, what was that, like 10 years ago?
Yeah, like over 10 years ago now. That's so crazy. Taylor and I met at U of A in the dorms.
Yes.
And yeah, always just like hit it off. When it comes to like Seth and I's relationship, my fiance Seth, and like how we met, it's so similar because I actually did get out of a relationship as well that wasn't for me.
Wow.
And I was with that person for 2.5 years in college and didn't work out. And same notion, like I felt like I just wanted to be on my own, be independent, and kind of rediscover myself during that summer as well after that relationship ended. And just a few months later, when I came back to U of A to complete my master's program, I met him again and we hit it off. And it's so amazing because we actually initially met in high school, locally in Los Angeles. We grew up just minutes apart. And
so
I discussed this kind of in the previous podcast a little bit. We both grew up in Pacific Palisades and we just hit it off again. And it was definitely like fate, I believe, as corny as it sounds, that we were able to meet again. And yeah, it's so crazy that we have that in common where we both got out of a relationship that wasn't for us.
It's
and then
so crazy how
ended
the
up
universe
finding
works.
up our person just a few months later.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned rediscovering yourself. And I think that is it can be such a crazy process depending how you look at what you need to fix and repair. But I'm curious, what was your like process like in that? Like, did you feel like when you met Seth, you were like, oh, like I'm actually ready?
Yeah. So for me, when I first met Seth again, right, like at U of A, I felt like I was looking for something different. I was looking to enjoy my life again. I was looking to have fun. I was looking to just surround myself with people that were high energy, that, were low stress. Yeah. And so that was such a stark contrast to the previous relationship where I was, more of a recluse, and being able to like be out in the world and go out and be social alongside someone that like is so similar to me in nature, but yet like different, but we're able to complement each other so well.
You guys are so cute. I love you and Seth. It's like yin and yang. I'm so here for it. So me and Jenny actually ran into each other on Friday, going out randomly, and we had the most the craziest conversation and like synchronicities about weddings. So it's just like crazy to be here.
I know, it's so
Side
crazy.
note.
Like speaking of seeing someone in a crowd, I saw Taylor like across the way. I'm like, that's Taylor and Tim. And Seth's like, yeah, that's them. And like we go across and it's like Seth and I's favorite club in Hollywood area and just have the best time. So it's always a blast. And you two are also yin and yang and so perfect for each other and just like magnets towards one another. And it's very inspiring.
That's my bestie. I think it is so important to marry your best friend. And you ask, like I watched, I forget the name of this movie. It's new on Netflix. I think it's The Life List. And the girl asked 4 questions to really know if you're in love. I think they were actually very good questions. One was, do they make you a better person? Do you trust them? Would you want to have kids with them? I answered an yes to all those questions. And I think that it's so important to really be sure when you're going into a marriage that is a person you want to go through the trenches with. Because the good times are, I hope that's why you're with somebody, because you guys enjoy company. But those hard times, that is such a big judge of character. And I think that it does take, like a year, maybe 2 years to really get to know somebody. But with Tim, like I undoubtedly know that he has my back. And I see that Seth has your back no matter what. And like, I don't know, when you're in a healthy relationship, you can spot them so easy,
It's so true. It's so true. So wait, what are your and Tim's signs? And are they compatible?
Okay, so I don't understand the compatibility of signs, but I'm a Pisces. I'm actually a triple water sign. So like I feel a lot. I have a Scorpio moon, which is like very fun. I've heard. I'm being so sarcastic there.
And the ex we spoke about was a Scorpio. So
Okay. So I actually heard that if a guy's a certain sign and a girl's a certain sign, it's very different. But Tim's a Libra, meaning he's very balanced. He's a scales. I so see that with him. I think our compatibility, just from like Google searching, was like 70 to 80%. I think on average, I think it's like 110. But
wait, so what's his sun sign?
I actually don't know.
Okay,
He's
no
like
worries.
not very into astrology, but he's not really a big believer in that. You know, I think it's interesting that you brought this up because he's a software engineer. I'm a membership director. He works behind a computer. I work with people. We are definitely very yin and yang. And he was making a joke this year that he thought that he was, what is that word? Introverted. And he realized he's like, actually, no, I'm an extrovert. And yes, sometimes we can both be recluse, you know, and want our alone time. But we are very different people. But at the same time, we have so many similarities. So it's interesting. But I do want to dive into that with him.
Yeah, I feel like that's so you two to dive into that. I mean, why not? Why not learn a little bit more? Yeah, so I'm an Aries sun, and Seth is a Sagittarius sun. So we're both fire signs, but
Spicy.
Yes, and they say that Aries and Sagittarius are very compatible. So Aries are compatible with Leo, Sagittarius, and there's one other one, but basically, and Gemini, I believe. They're very compatible with those signs. So yeah, it's definitely, it works.
Learning to do in that regard, but that's really cool.
Yeah,
it kind of like reaffirms.
No, it reaffirms. Yeah, it definitely reaffirms. Like, just because, you know, we both operate the same way and the way that we think, and we're both like fiercely loyal too, which I think like is so important in a marriage. So I want to talk a little bit more about wedding planning and marriage and preparing for this amazing step in both of our lives. But I also want to touch a little bit on like the engagement story before we dive into that.
Oh, yes, so, where it all began. Well, I guess it began 6 years ago.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about like your engagement story. How did Tim propose? Like, what's the tea on that?
The tea, let's spill it.
Spill that tea.
So it's really funny. We used to live like Miracle Mile area. So we were going to Nashville around 4th of July, and I had like a slight feeling because my mom made a comment about my nails, and I love surprises. Like, I'm not one of those people who like wants to know like what Santa got me for Christmas as a kid, you know? And I remember I got 2 white dresses, and Tim, before I went to the Grove, asked me, he's like, hey, are you bringing any pretty dresses or whatever to Nashville? He never asked me, nor cares, I think, what I wear. I mean, sometimes he'll make comments if he really likes what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I went to the Grove. I had the nail cue from my mom. And that was pretty much all the like kind of background info that I had. I was trying to like play detective, but not too much. And I remember we got to Nashville. When we arrived that night, it was so random. Like, everyone was doing something different. My mom had to go, she's building a house out there with my dad. She had to go to an appointment the next day. All the boys, including my brother, went to like go to one of the Airbnbs to drop off stuff, and then we're gone for hours. So I literally was at my sister's boyfriend's house by myself. So I did a full hair mask. I did a face mask. It was like the best. And then Tim's like, hey, do you want to go out to dinner? And I was like, sure. But I was like, where is everyone? And I remember I was looking at the Google Maps because I was like, where is everyone? I literally screenshot it, send it to Tim, and it's at the place that he's scoping to propose to me at, because there was a cancellation at, I think it was like it was some garden venue, kind of like Huntington Gardens here. We still have to go. But I remember because of the weather, they had to cancel. So all the boys were like going on that journey. But I sent it to him and I was like, what are you guys doing in the middle of a field? Literally. And so we laughed about that the next day. But I woke up the next day. Everyone was like, had different plans, whatever. So Tim's like, hey, you want to go out to lunch? And I was like, yeah. So we went to STK and we walk in and the music was like fire. They were playing disco. There was the vibes. And I was like, oh my God, is he going to propose here? I didn't really know.
So you kind of like felt like it was going to happen soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very intuitive with energy and I felt the excitement, but I wasn't sure because everyone was also gone. Like,
Yeah.
I would think that my family would want to be there.
Were you looking at rings too, like beforehand?
No. I mean, my mom knows everything that I like.
Yeah.
Same with my sister. We're like besties. So we literally have a matching tattoo.
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh.
a upside down triangle because we're all water signs.
Wait, I love that. But three of you. So like
Yeah.
3 sides.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, my dad has that. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Yeah.
A triangle tattoo?
Yeah. For me, my mom, my sister. Yeah.
Oh, do you
On
guys
his-
call
on
each
that
other
part of-
triangle?
No, it's just like, I'm pretty sure I told my dad, I was like, you should get that tattoo. And then like the next day he went to Venice and got it.
The synchronicities between us is actually crazy.
I know.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Okay. Back to the engagement story. You guys are at STK.
Yes. And he's like, hey, what do you want to do next? And I was like, let's go to Broadway. Like, I want to like go explore and stuff. And then he was like, oh, let's ask the waiter. So he tipped the waiter to write on this piece of paper. He like gave us recommendations. Then I went to the bathroom and he was like, write Bicentennial Park at the top. And I was like, okay, like let's go there. You know, when I got the paper, we get to the park. We parked in this like random parking lot and then we walk into the park and it was, I kid you not, Jenny, like 112 degrees. It was between 110 to 112. It was hot. And we're walking around and there is
Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, my makeup. But I was like, no, it's not happening today. I had a keychain on my Polaroid camera that was a joke from my sister. She like put it on there one time when I was flying home from Sacramento. And Tim rips it off and throws it. And I was like, why did you do that? And he's like, because just trust me. And I was like, babe. It was something inappropriate. So I get he didn't want it in the pictures, but it was so funny.
Good for him though. Like he was like getting everything ready
I know.
and making sure that like it was perfect. We love that.
I mean, I go get it back after though. So we get to this like to the main part of Bicentennial Park and there's like stars and stuff. He's like, here, let me hold your stuff. And I was like, okay. And so he grabs it. And sorry, let me back it up actually. When we were walking towards that area, he looks back at me and like takes me by my hand and like he like cried. And he looked me so deep in the eye. And I was like, Tim, I don't know what you just did, but you're going to make me start crying right now. Aww. And I felt this like wave of like love and emotion. And then he asked me if he could take my stuff. He set it down so it's like out of the pictures. You know, he had it all planned out. And he got down on a knee and it was the most exciting moment because I knew that literally the night that I met him that he was my person. People might call me crazy, but I knew because of the look and confirmation I had in his eyes. Aww. It was like as if the stars or we made a promise in the past lifetime. And it was so exciting. And right after he did that, both of sides of our family popped outside of these pillars and were like cheering us. They brought like Dom P and custom glasses and like flowers and just like bombarded us with love. And it was just such a beautiful day.
That is so wonderful. Yeah. And those pictures were gorgeous. I know there's like a picture of you like jumping in his arms and it's just so perfect. I think you got engaged like a few months before me and I remember seeing the pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, like I hope I get engaged soon. And then
you put that out there, girl.
Yeah, I put it out there in the universe. And then just a few months later, so Seth and I had been planning a trip to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And we like to go on trips like every couple of years together to Mexico, especially because we just cute. Love it there. And it's just like so relaxing. Yeah. And like we had been like looking at rings and like talking about things.
Oh, so you did look at rings.
Yeah, like
together.
we looked at rings together.
Did he ask you?
Yeah, he asked me to look at rings. Cute. Yeah, he wanted to like make sure that it was something that I really loved and everything. And it felt like rather than, it being more of a mystery. And I was surprised because I didn't know if it was going to happen on that trip or like when it would be, even though I knew I was going to be getting engaged like soon.
Yeah.
I didn't, of course, like I had an inkling, like we're going on a trip, right? But I didn't know when it was going to be,
every trip
where it was going to be, like,
is this it?
Yeah. But I was like, you know what? Like, just very excited. And instead of like a huge surprise where I was like, shocked, it was more so like a decision between the two of us that we wanted to be together forever and like get engaged, right? Which I feel like is for me, and I think everyone's different, but it felt very current, like for me, where like I was making the choice with him. You know what I mean? So like I was so excited. And so we went to Playa del Carmen and I was just like, is it going to happen on the trip? Like, I don't know. Like, I honestly just kept thinking in my head, like, it might not happen on the trip. Maybe he's like too afraid to bring the ring, like with him on the plane.
Like, I know I'm going to look damn good every night.
Yeah. Like I was like doing full glam, like every night. Yeah. So one night, I think it was like only like a couple nights into the trip. Right. And so I like get all ready and he did say like, wear a nice dress tonight. So I was like, oh, okay. And then, so this is like such a beautiful resort. It's called the Grand Mayan in Riviera Maya.
Ooh, I've heard of this place.
Yeah, it's so freaking nice. Like, it's probably the nicest hotel like I've ever stayed at. Like, I feel so lucky that I got to go there with him just in general. But the fact that I got like engaged there is just like a dream come true.
Princess.
Thank you. And also, like, anyone who knows me knows that Mexico is my happy place. I went there every year with my family growing up. And, like, I'm very fortunate that I was able to do that. But I just really have always loved the ocean so much and nature. And, like, it just brings back so many memories from me since my childhood.
Do you specifically go to Playa del Carmen?
I went to Cabo every year growing up.
Okay.
But,
how close are they?
So Playa del Carmen is the Caribbean Sea. And Cabo is actually like it's the Pacific Ocean, I believe. So they're different.
I need a geo test on that.
Yes.
But okay.
Don't fact check. No, we'll edit it out if it's wrong. But no. So Playa del Carmen is definitely the Caribbean Sea. The water is so blue, which is just like amazing, right? So long story short, we go to dinner. We had been at the pool all day. Like we had been in and out of the ocean, And we're walking through just like this jungle and like you walk like on this path and there's just like, it's just like a jungle everywhere. You can hear like the sounds of like the animals and just like the sun starts setting and it's just, and I could like feel the energy. Like I was starting to like kind of get emotional. Like even talking about it right now, I kind of do. Just because it was just like the best moment of my life so far. And I know the wedding will be the best day of my life. And then eventually like when I have children, but yeah. Like just thinking about like the commitment that we made to each other that day. So basically we were walking down the path and he takes me to like this little lagoon, right? And I look to like my left and there's just like the sun is setting, like I said. And like there's kind of like just this Moroccan music in the background because the hotel just like has music just playing on all the speakers all the time. And so it was just like that vibe, like very relaxing, like vacation vibes. And so then, we're talking and I kind of blacked out during it, which I'm sure you did too.
I totally did. I was I wish I could remember exactly what he said. I have an idea.
It's hard to remember exactly what like Seth said.
Yeah.
But I do remember that he like started to like bawl his I don't know if you'd want me to share this, but he was crying.
That's
and it
was boys, please cry.
I know.
Show your emotions.
Like
be
we
vulnerable.
love that, especially on the wedding day too.
I know.
We're manifesting that when we walk down the aisle. But so little different. He didn't have a photographer, which I was so happy about because it was an intimate moment between the two of us. And similarly to like the conversation of whether or not you look at rings with your partner beforehand, like for us, this is like what was right for us. Like no photographer, just the two of us. And yeah, he got down on a knee. Like I remember I almost like, he almost forgot to like put the ring on my finger because we were just like so happy. And like, you know, it was just amazing. So after that, we like, so he proposed and like, I looked down at the ring. I'm like, it's just when you see the ring too, like I wouldn't say I'm a very materialistic person, but when you see the ring, you're just like, wow, like this is real. Like this is amazing. That's so beautiful. And I was like so afraid to like ruin it at first. I was like,
oh my
you
God,
know,
girl, I stared at my ring for literally like 2 weeks straight. And then I remember I hit the fridge and I was like, oh my God, did I chip it? And I texted Tim. He's like, baby, it's a diamond. And I was like, oh, you're right.
And somehow Taylor and I have like the same ring too. It's wild. Like just similarities between us. Then again, a lot of
We're
girls
probably
have
gonna
this
get
ring,
the same band too.
So then, and I'll wrap it up too because I know we have a lot to get through. But so then we went, you know, we walked over to the restaurant. Like there was like a beautiful like heart-shaped like flower arrangement that he had set up like right outside of the restaurant. And it was just like greeting us to the restaurant. We sat down, we had champagne, like view of the ocean. Like we had FaceTimed our family because our family wasn't there, but for us it just felt so amazing to be able to just spend this moment, just the two of us. We cried at dinner, and we had the most beautiful meal, and just it was a steakhouse dinner, and it was just the best night of my life. We left, we walk out, and it starts drizzling because it's Cancun, right? So it's like it's tropical. Notebook. And by the way, my hair was like so frizzy during the proposal too because it was so humid. So I feel you 100% on the heat. Like I was like my makeup and my hair.
That is like one moment though where you just like you don't care because you're so in the moment and you feel it. You know, we're intuitive. We know what's
exactly.
up.
So like basically they have these golf carts that take you like to and from everywhere in the resort because it's like so big. Mm-hmm. And so we get on a golf cart and it's covering us from the rain and we're just like driving through and like it takes us back to our room and like the rest was history, right? Oh. And we were, we did posts later that night because you got to post the Instagram that you got engaged, right? Because like the fam's waiting at home. Like they want to see.
They want to see. The people want to see.
And I've never I was so high on life. Like I'm sure you were too. For days, I like just the outpour of love that you get like from your friends, family, like everyone that you've ever met on Instagram, and just people are just like so happy and for you, and it's just like the best feeling. And so. Yeah, I wanted to soak it all up, and we decided to do a longer engagement. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you also did like a 2-year-long engagement, pretty much, right? Like,
we got engaged
like damn near, right?
2 years ago.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because like I feel like a lot of people are like, that's so long, but like we did the same thing. So tell me your thoughts on like the benefits of a longer engagement versus a shorter one.
I think an important question to ask yourself first is, where are we at in life? Do we need to be getting married sooner or later? Like, what does our situation look like? Obviously, if you're older, you might want to do a shorter engagement to like start a family. I always knew that I wanted to do a long engagement. I've had this kind of fantasy of like, oh, I want to be in my fiance era, which I am so happy that I did because we did the bridal shower, the joint bachelorette, multiple like girl nights, gatherings, stuff like that. That made me really sink into being a bride. And I think that, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for you to kind of be the one being showered with love on a like bridal level, wearing your all white. I've been literally wearing all white for the past 2 years.
You have the bride sweatshirt on.
It's literally like my closet is like white, beige, a few colors black, but it's like my white is just like but I would say like shorter engagements are fine too, but I knew that when we got engaged, I was working for another company in the corporate world, and I knew that that's not where I wanted to be. There was a lot of still growth that I wanted to feel before getting to this moment. And it's like the same thing, when you're a mom and you're like, or when you're about to be a mom and you don't know if you're ready to start having kids, whatever. I don't think you'll ever fully be ready, but I wanted to make sure that like some ducks were in a row before we got married. So I actually left corporate in October of 2023. And then I found the Kin where I work now. But I'm happy that I did that and I took the risk. And what being engaged for a longer amount of time let me do was say, hey, like, we're not married yet. We don't have kids yet. Like, I'm going to take a risk. I quit my job without having a backup plan. And it like ignited this fire in me. But yeah, it's been awesome. Looking at wedding venues too is a whole process. And like, if you are planning on doing a long engagement, still find the venue like as early as you can.
How many months in after you got engaged did you find the venue, would you say?
Oh my gosh, I really have to think about this. I would say almost a year in. We didn't do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were planning on getting married in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And we looked at like 20 different venues, which I also recommend like not looking at that many venues. Like pick your top like 5, maybe 10 if that. Same with wedding dresses. Going and doing too many things will give you such decision fatigue and you'll just like, you won't know what to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes some things that can be very decisive, some things I'm just like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But for some reason, New Orleans just didn't feel like the right city for us. It was going to be really fun, but there was just like, I don't know. And I was like, I'm not a bridezilla, but like, I want it to like feel right. So when we got engaged that trip in Nashville, we actually went to Tremont Mansion, which is Andrew Jackson's old Hermitage house. And we ended up going with them because that was like the one and only venue that we looked at in Nashville. And little background, my mom and dad are moving out there. Literally, my mom and brother just landed in Nashville today, starting this next chapter, which is so crazy. And my sister's out there, so it felt like a really good place to like create new memories and plant those roots.
Yeah.
So
when you signed the papers with Tim and your family, you felt like just so excited about it. Like it was just perfect and the right choice.
yeah, and another crazy thing is we went to my parents' new church out there, Catholic church, St. Stephen's. It is so beautiful, but the staff are like the most amazing part about it. We went in, I met Father Davis, I met Gina, and they were so helpful, so loving. The community events that they put on, really amazing. And I left and I wanted something, I wanted things to be confirmed. And I remember I had my eyes set on the cathedral.
Yeah.
It's the Cathedral of the Incarnation. It's a big, beautiful church in the Gulch. And I had reached out to them months before. And they were like booked out till 2026. And I remember I was driving to work one day and I was like, hey, like, do you guys have availability on June 7th? Mind you, we changed our date also. And she was like, honey, like I'll check, but like we're pretty much booked out until 2026. She checks June 7th. She's like, we just had a cancellation for 1 p.m. And I was like, please. I was like, I want it. And I was like, this is so crazy.
Oh my God, that's so serendipitous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I prayed to God before and I was like, wait, this is actually insane. And I like locked that in. I've never paid a check so fast in my life. Which is bittersweet, but at the same time, I called Gina and I was like, hey, I need a priest for the wedding. So Father Davis and Gina will both also be at the wedding.
Wow.
So yeah.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that's also because of your energy and like your positivity and like the love and joy that you put into the world. Like truly that you attracted that back. 'Cause like I fully believe in that. And I mean, that's how I try to live my life too. And you can see it like coming back. You see the good karma coming back to you when you put that love and joy into the world, right?
Yeah.
And when you live your life with love and kindness. So I can see that 100% for you is like you attracted that. Mm-hmm. And I know that you're a faithful woman and a spiritual woman. So, like
multifaceted.
God gave that to you, right? And
yeah,
everyone has like a different perspective on God and the universe and a higher power. But at the end of the day, it's all kind of one and the same, despite religion.
Yeah.
Right? And different religions.
Totally.
So I want to talk a little bit about like the process of like finding our dream dress. And then I also want to talk after that about like the impact of wedding planning on mental health, societal pressures, like the, I guess, pressure to like look a certain way, to, you know, just to be like the perfect bride. So for me, like when I went into wedding planning, I was nervous, but also excited. But I want to hear about like your experience first, and mainly just your experience about wedding planning. Or,
I remember where you were, because you were texting me when you were getting that process. So
Yeah,
I was like, what you're feeling is normal. I think it's actually really funny that like this situation is happening right now and the specific questions being asked, because I will never forget like scrolling on all the apps like I talked about, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, and I'm like, where's like the best place to find the wedding dress? You know, I can't afford a Galia La Havre dress, nor do I want to spend that much money on a dress. That's not in my value system, and that's not somewhere where I want to spend my money. But I did want to, you know, make sure that I did get the dress that I really liked. I will never forget texting you. And you literally were like, girl, you got to go to Monami. I have my appointment here. And I was like, okay, it's all the way in Costa Mesa. It's like an hour away from me. But I was like, F it. Like, if Jenny says this is the place, I love personal referrals and recommendations overall. I'm so happy that I went, because I will never forget the first dress I tried on. Amazing, but very glittery, a little bit too glittery for my liking. My dad was like obsessed with it.
Your dad was there?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my mom, dad, it was over Thanksgiving. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother were all in town. And I remember it was supposed to be just me and my mom and my sister, triangle. And because we like did a road trip out to Costa Mesa, the boys were like going to grab lunch, whatever. They ended up hanging in the area. So my dad ends up coming, and I'm very close with my family. I didn't care about the tradition, whatever. He's still going to see me in a different light on the wedding day. And I remember coming out, and they were like super excited, and it was the third dress that I came out with, because the first one, cool. The second one was like, we're getting a little closer. And then she's like, wait, she's like, based on what you described, I think it's important to know like your overarching theme of what you're looking for. You don't have to be too specific, because your dress isn't always going to be what you imagined going in. I've heard that so many times, and it is a thing.
So true.
When I tried on the dress and she put the veil on, and then she gave me those like fake flowers, I looked in the mirror and I literally envisioned, and I saw a snapshot of me walking down the aisle, and I start like crying. And I don't know, I was like, I didn't want to cry in front of my parents, but it was like an emotional moment of like, I just looked at my mom and my dad. I was like, and then we all just like shook our heads, and we were like,
I have tears in my eyes right now.
It's so special. And my mom went wedding shopping with her mom, and she pretty much chose like one of the first few dresses. You know, my mom's mom didn't really put the attention into like, you know, the little details of that.
Yeah, I thought it was like a different time period too. It was like, I don't know.
My mom hated her dress. I think she looked beautiful, and you know how 80s dresses are.
Yeah, it was like more conservative time, I feel like
the poofy sleeves.
Yeah, but conservative teams in terms of like just being more covered.
Yes. Yeah. And so my mom, I think, wanted me to have that experience. And when we got there, we got up to the counter and we bought the dress that day of. They just happened to have my size in stock. It was going to be shipped out like a month or two later. So it felt very kismet and in flow.
Wait, they didn't like do your measurements, and like you just bought the dress as is?
They had to ship it from, I don't know where they shipped it from, wherever Justin Alexander lives.
Also the brand that I...
No way. Wait, Jenny, what if we
at
have
Monami?
Yeah. We have the same dress?
I know. We have like no idea if we do.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I won't give details on my dress, but
yeah, I'm not saying a peep. By the way, my dad doesn't even know what my dress looks like, because like we're doing a first look, and they're like, send out a pic. I was like, I don't want to send out a pic. Like, I don't know. So it was just me, but go on.
You have to trust what's important to you on that day too. Like if you don't want to do, I'm not doing a first look, but if you want to do a first look, that's so important to know.
Wait, are you doing a first look with Tim?
No.
Neither are we.
But you're doing one with your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't really think about that. Honestly,
time.
My dad will probably forget, and then they'll see me and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Whatever works. It's just what we're doing, but yeah.
That's so sweet.
So when you found the dress, and you like, I think you said this before, but like, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but don't you think that the dress chooses you at the end of the day?
Yes. Like I said, decision paralysis is a thing when you're wedding planning. I had two more appointments at other studios. I ended up only going to one of them. And I remember I was trying on dresses and they were so beautiful. And I was just like, oh my God, I can literally try on wedding dresses as a hobby.
And every dress, same. I like became obsessed with it. Like
Obsessed.
it was honestly probably like one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like so lame, but like no, truly,
It's a fun thing to do.
I became
mean, when
obsessed.
else are you gonna wear a dress like that?
And that's what my mom and my sister said too. Is like you have to have fun. Like this is supposed to be such a fun experience.
Drink the champagne.
Yeah.
Bring your girls. Do the thing.
Did you bring your friends too?
No, I actually just brought my mom and my sister, and then my aunt came with me to my first dress fitting, and then I had another dress fitting, and I hope it's my last one. I think they said like 2 or 3, but I'm getting my dress bustled too, so I don't know.
Is it so? The dress is ready.
I have my appointment next Friday.
Are you excited? Are you nervous? I mean, you're perfect, so it'll be fun.
Oh my God, stop! Perfection is unattainable.
Body, yaddy, yaddy.
Oh my
on
gosh,
point.
I love
like,
it. That
it's
brings
fine.
me back to college. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't say that I'm nervous. I would say I'm excited. I'm just curious. Like, I think I would be nervous if I had to come in for one more appointment because time is of the essence here and we're like 30 days out. But no, I'm really excited. And my other veil came in. I'm doing like very classic, timeless. I do need to get a tiara still though.
Tiara for the veil?
Yeah, because when I wear the veil, I think I would want something to like separate it.
Okay,
but,
see, I haven't even gotten that far. I'm still like 5 months out, so I need to get the veil still.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can do it without a tiara, but are you gonna do the front blusher and then like a long veil?
I have to figure it out still. Yeah, but I'm definitely doing a veil, of course.
Yeah, I know it's so traditional.
Yeah, but I love that for you. That's so exciting. I feel like, that day, like when I said yes to the dress was just like I felt like I was floating and like, I'm like similarly to you, I'm the type of person where sometimes I can be indecisive. I feel like during the wedding planning process, I've been pretty decisive overall, which I'm very proud of myself for. And I think it's just because I've been trying to go with my gut as much as possible and not really like second guess any decisions.
Yes.
Yeah. So like with the dress, my mom was crying and hugging me and it just felt so right. And I was just, I was tearing up. I felt the most beautiful I've ever felt in my life. Like it was wonderful. I went to 2 stores, one in Costa Mesa and one in like the San Fernando Valley area. And I got to,
Wow.
but like in different time
That's
periods.
LA for you.
Yeah. And so I actually went to Mon Ami, like I'm pretty sure like 3 times just because.
I remember that because you were very indecisive at first.
See, I was very indecisive during this process, like during that process specifically, because I knew it was like so important to me. And like it is such a central part of like the wedding day. And of course, like the wedding it's about marrying your person, like you said in the beginning, but the wedding is about the bride.
You get one wedding dress in your life. You can wear whatever the heck you want, but that dress, when you put it on, you better be sure that that's the one, whether it makes you emotional. And I think that it really does choose you because emotions will come out most of the time from what I've heard from my friends.
Are you like changing for like your reception and dressing like in a little cute like short dress?
This is such a funny topic because
are you?
I'm 30 days out, so I need to make this decision like today. I already have the dress that I want for my second look in my cart, but I'm struggling to press buy because the wedding dress that I'm getting, I'm already paying to have it bustled, right? And you get to only wear one dress, your wedding dress on this day, right? Not to say I'm not going to play dress up later. But our reception is going till 2 a.m. And like,
oh wow, lucky. We're having it afters because ours ending at like 11. So.
I love it. So that was a really important thing for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to have to like corral the whole troops. And we're getting married June 7th in Nashville, which is also CMA Fest, which is like the craziest weekend out there.
So fun.
So, doing afters out there would have been fun. But I just want everyone to
say where I'm getting married.
You didn't.
I'm getting married in Malibu at a beautiful wedding venue outside. and it's like on the water and it's beautiful. We're getting married under a sycamore tree with the ocean in the background, but we will be getting married, technically like having a ceremony in the church like beforehand, like a week or two before. And we also will be having like a blessing in the synagogue beforehand too, so that like it is technically a sacrament of marriage. And then of course like the rabbi and the priest will, be officiating the wedding at the outdoor ceremony. But for the priest, I don't want to like say his name out, without his consent, but for him, like it's not actually like the wedding, right? Like the wedding's in the church. This is more like for him a celebration, but like he's with it. He's down. Like he just loves our family.
That's so really sweet. Is the sycamore tree like symbolic for you guys in any way?
Yeah, I mean, we just like love nature, and like that sounds very basic, but we just love like nature's for me, medicine. I feel like my most at peace when I'm in nature. And I think I touched on this earlier, but like by the ocean. I always knew that I wanted to, ever since I was a young girl, like get married in front of the ocean. And I wasn't really the type of girl to really like fantasize about my wedding day that much when I was a little girl. I did fantasize a lot about like finding my Prince Charming and like finding my person. And I think I did think about it a little bit. Like when I was like around 14, I was thinking like, oh, I could see myself like getting married, but I wasn't thinking it about too many details like some little girls do, other than just about I could see myself getting married in front of the ocean. So that was important.
To find a location in LA and in Malibu with just like the touch of the sycamore tree.
I know.
That's really special. Wow.
Yeah. And also like the entire wedding and reception is going to be outside. Like the ceremony, then the cocktail hour, and then the reception, like kind of moving around from different parts of the venue because it's a historic house. It's like it's technically a museum, so you can't go inside, but it's fancy. All around that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a beautiful space, and I'm so grateful that like it's there because like literally a mile and a half down the road, like houses burned down. So there's a little pocket of like this area where we're having like our rehearsal dinner and like our after party, and like where Seth and I are staying, where like family staying at a different hotel across the street, like it was unaffected by the fires. So like, wow, we're so lucky. And yeah.
Were you like freaking out when January happened?
Oh my God. Yeah. I was like so nervous, of course, like for mostly because of like my family and friends that were affected. I wasn't really thinking as much about the venue until later. But yeah, I was like checking the app to see like where the fire was. And I could see that like the fire was like creeping towards it, but then by a certain point, like it was contained. But we talked enough about that in the last episode. It's not. It's a lot. Yeah.
January in LA was a crazy one. I'm just happy that your family and friends are okay.
Thank you so much.
And your wedding venue.
Thank goodness. And before we close out the podcast, I just wanted to just ask, like, why did you do a joint bachelorette or batch party instead of separate? Because the viewers, like, they want to know what the pros and cons of both. I did a little poll today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's so crazy. Yeah, I remember my first reaction when I told a lot of people, especially like here at the Kin, everyone was like, "What? You're doing a joint bachelorette?" Or like, "That's on trend now." And I was like, I don't care about the trend. Like, I weighed out all the different places. I was like Vegas, Nashville, Cabo, and none of them really felt right. I was like, what do I really want to do? I want to listen to music with my homies and I want to dance. And so I was like, oh, Coachella would be so fun. So when I met Tim in San Francisco, Coachella was 2 weeks after the Carl Cox show, the first day that we met. And I had to go home the next weekend. And so our second date was essentially Coachella. He's like, you have to come. And he waited 3 days to text me, and I was like freaking out.
Love that.
And then like one of the first texts was like, hey, like I would really love to see you at Coachella. I went home, I pulled out all the stops. And
who was headlining that year?
Billie Eilish, The Weeknd, Childish Gambino, Rufus
Wait,
was there.
shut up. That was the first Coachella that Seth and I ever went to in 2019. That was like one of the best Coachellas we've ever been to. And it was the first one. It was like right when we started dating. Like we started dating in like late December and then early
go to Coachella.
April. Like we went. Yeah.
So fun. Wow. But yeah, I remember I got to meet his brother Tyler and Joey, and then his best friends Carlos and Carl. And I remember it was either like Saturday or Sunday. I got off the Ferris wheel. We were all like vibing and like rapping and freestyling. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is my squad. I remember I walked out and I took his older brother, Joey. And I was like, Joey, I was like, I have a secret to tell you. And he was like, what? And I was like, but you cannot tell Tim or anyone. And he was like, what? And I was like, I think I'm going to date your brother. I was like, no, I'm going to date your brother. And he kept the secret. And Joey's like my homie. I love Tim's brothers. Tyler's also
That's
amazing.
so nice.
Shane's amazing. They're all so different. They're my bros. And I'm like so excited to like have a bigger family. But when I told Tim that I wanted to do Coachella, he was like, I want to do Coachella too. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, let's run it back. And so it was really cool because not only do we have the original crew, we had most of my bridesmaids. We had almost all of his groomsmen too. And then we had a few extra friends come that we wanted to be a part of that. So we got a huge house that fit 20 people, hot tub, jacuzzi, had all the vibes. And we did like 3 theme days. It was so much fun. And you know, a lot of these people have met and some of them haven't met, but everyone got together, got along so well.
There were so many people there.
Dude, going through Coachella with a crowd of 19, like we ran deep.
Did you lose anyone?
There was times where people went to different sets, but it was like, you know, I'm not going to be like, hey, like we have to be together the whole time. I was like, no, we're here. Let's have fun. We were very in flow. And we ended at Polo and Pan on Sunday. And it was so just filled with love. Aww. It was so amazing.
And was Tim totally on board with doing the joint batch, like since day one?
Yeah. So we were looking at houses. I remember we were in the living room pulling up on the TV, like all our different Airbnb options, me, him, and our roommate, Brandon. And we voted like top 2. And then it was between like one more expensive house and then this other house that was like a few $1,000s cheaper. And he was on the phone with his credit card company, like about to like, you know, make the purchase. And I was like, babe, I was like, last minute, just go with the more expensive one. It's a little bit nicer. No. So we booked it. It was like $17,500. And
oh my gosh, Tay.
I know. And
YOLO.
I was like, oh, but we're going to have a group of like 19, 20.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. Yeah, like the first, this was in, I think, October. The first few months, we like nobody was paying. And I think people were struggling to see the vision. We had like a handful of our friends pay.
Yeah.
Even do half. And it is a big ask. Like Coachella tickets are like almost $700. And we had people flying across the country. Plus the Airbnb. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, at first I was like, wait, I'm losing sight of the vision. Me and Tim started to panic a little bit. And then like 2 months before, like everyone was like locked in, you know, and it became this, like, we were super in flow. But like, I think this goes to show, like, if you have the vision, and like I had a gut feeling, I was like, oh my God, all the besties at Coachella, like I believe in it so much. I felt that this was the right call. And I was scared that we were going to have to front a lot of the money. And we did cut a lot of the money off of our friends' like tab for the house. Because it was a big ask of us. But we just wanted everyone there. You know, we wanted something memorable. When else do you get to like convince all your friends that they like have to come, you know?
Did anyone like hook up other than you and Tim?
Surprisingly, well, not that I know of. Surprisingly, no. But we have a lot of couple friends.
Okay. I feel like that happens a lot on like.
I thought there was gonna.
It happens a lot on like the joint bachelor or batch parties I've noticed, and that like it's kind of fun in that way because you can kind of play matchmaker and like people get together, and instead of it just being like all girls or all boys, you have
Yeah.
like both together. So it almost turns into like Bachelor in Paradise or something.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
Which is like so fun.
We will see at the wedding. There was some things that I was like, okay, I'm curious to see where this will go. But I think there's a few people in our friend group that definitely have crushes on each other. So the wedding should be very fun.
Because Seth and I are so like untraditional in nature in other ways. We're being more traditional with our bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Yeah.
We're both going to Vegas, but he's going a different weekend than I am with my girls. And
you're like looking with your binoculars through.
No, like different weekends.
Oh,
yeah.
You kind of explained to me like you were doing like shows and stuff with the girls and stuff. That's so fun. Have you been to Vegas a lot before?
I've been to Vegas before, yeah, but it's been so long. Like the last time I went to Vegas was actually with Seth, like before COVID. It was like a few days before the pandemic hit. And we saw Tiesto and like we had so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Vegas just felt like a no-brainer. And also like I have an older sister and like she's my matron of honor and she's planning the whole thing for me. And like she was like, Jenny, like Vegas is like the perfect place to go for a bachelorette because like it's first off it's easy like it's like for most people to get to. Like it's like I have people coming from Scottsdale, people coming from like Florida, like LA, like all over. It's fairly easy for people to get to. And also too, like it's just like classic. Like we're gonna take a party bus to the Vegas sign, take pictures, like we're gonna like go to the pool party, like see Fisher, like we're gonna see DJs at night. So for me, it just feels like such a great last hurrah. You know?
100%. That's going to be so fun because you really do get all the different elements. You know, you get a hotel room with the girls and the food in Vegas is amazing. There's shopping. There's, like you said, the Vegas sign.
Yeah.
The music acts are incredible. So that's going to be so fun. I love that Seth is doing the same thing with the boys.
His time is going to be a little different. We're staying at like, you know, like the Venetian, like nice hotel. Like
so
he's going to be at like some like divey hotel.
Is he? Wait, why?
No, it's just like it's just joking.
The Flamingo.
I'm just joking. It's just more so like he's a dude. Like I'm like, you know what? This is your time.
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want to do. Like, and he's so excited. Like his best man's planning it for him, and I just want him to have a blast. And this is really like his moment. Right? Like I'm having 2 bridal showers. The wedding has been centered around me. Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. I'm having 2 bridal showers this summer. My mother-in-law, my future mother-in-law offered to host one for me at her house. And my mom's friends also offered to host one for me as well. So it just felt, it was easier because there's so many women involved to just do it separately. And there's going to be different themes. So
that's really cute.
And it's actually pretty common. Like a lot of people do too. Not everybody. Not that that's something that people need to do, but
I would do too.
Yeah, like
I think
my sister had one, I think, but when she had her baby, her first baby, she had 2 baby showers. One for her like, you know, mother-in-law and one with my mom. So it's like I think it's just so that both families can feel like they're doing something.
Are your families big though?
Well, so my mom's bridal shower for me is mainly like all her besties that are planning it for me. And my mom has like such a great like girl squad that wanted to plan this for me. And then my future mother-in-law, it's going to be also her girlfriends that have been wanting to do this for a while for me. And I think it's because we had a longer engagement, 2 years, that like we've had all this time to like think about it. And I love my future and mother-in-law so much. And she's so sweet and she's such a good planner. Yeah. And like this is her time to plan, right? Because I've done so much of the wedding planning and my mom's done so much that giving her the opportunity to like plan something, and she's so excited. And so I'm so grateful that I'm having to.
Oh, that's really sweet. You know, we touched on a few topics of like joint bachelorette or solo, and it's like, what are your reasonings behind that? You know, and it's like, you can't compare your marriage story to somebody else. It's like, you got to tune into you, you know, is a long year engagement better than a short engagement? You know, you can get so many different viewpoints on both, but at the end of the day, it's like, sit there, breathe, be still, and really understand like, okay, what is best for me? What is my highest self wanting or calling in at this moment? I'm curious how you think about a longer engagement too.
I love what you just said so much. And I think it ties in so well with like the meaning of this podcast and this show of like mental health. I think like having a longer engagement was better for my mental health, being someone that like, I don't like being rushed. I don't like to have to rush to make decisions and be on a time crunch and everything. So having 2 years was really good for my mental health versus if it was just a year. I think a year and a half could have been good too.
A year sounds crazy,
but a year
to plan a wedding.
Like that's
I could
short.
never.
And
I mean,
people
I could,
do that. I mean, that's what my future mother-in-law and future father-in-law did was a year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's, I guess, more traditional, as you might say. But yeah, for me, it just felt better. And then also like you said earlier, where we were at, you know, we moved back to LA, like from Scottsdale. So after we got engaged, just a couple months after. So for us with the move and like starting new jobs and stuff like that, I got to transfer with my company that I was with before. Now I'm with Audible. But yeah,
They're so lucky to have you.
Thank you. I love it. But yeah, long story short, just like we needed a longer time just to get settled in LA. And like also there was a lot of like topics to go over and like things, you know, and just we were still young. Like
and we're going through a job transition while being engaged. Like kudos to you. Like that's a huge thing. Like I remember, you know, you joined the kin and then, you know, looking for a new next chapter. And it's, you know, some people are very passionate about what they want and very intentional and like wedding planning while trying to figure that out. Like props to you, girl, because that is not easy.
Yeah, and the kin is such an amazing community to be a part of. And shout out kin.
Shout out the kin. This is where we're at right now.
Yes, the kin is such a big part of this podcast, such a big part of this idea and this mission. And I'm so grateful for the kin. And yeah, I mean, it helped me to like get to go through that journey and the few months that I had like after I was laid off before Audible brought me on to like really focus on like my mental health, spirituality, journaling, getting closer to God, getting closer to the universe, focusing on my creative passions, creating the podcast, diving into social media content creation, writing, you know, hosting workshops here, things like that. I'm so grateful that I got to do that. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was like working full time and wedding planning at the same time. Even if I was like fully just, you know, pedal to the metal, like preparing for a wedding, I don't think I would have been able to manifest like what I did manifest. You know what I mean?
Being still in the process.
Yeah.
Some people work really well under pressure, but I don't think that we're the kind of girls that do. And it's like, you got to be in flow and, you know, you want to have that time. Like, I cannot wait. Sorry, this is just a random side thought, but I cannot wait to be in Spain for our honeymoon and have like a 2-hour paella dinner with sangria at like 9 o'clock at night. Just
wait, where in
out.
Spain?
So we're going to Barcelona and then we're going to Ibiza.
Love. Oh my God, that's perfect. So you get to start off in Barcelona, which is like so chill and like relaxing because you can go to the beach and stuff. But then you can go to Ibiza and then like party it up once you've recovered from the wedding hangover. And then
Mallorca and then Amsterdam.
I'm so excited for you. You said that you're going for a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
So amazing.
This will be like our first big trip, just like us too. So I'm so excited. We were like working and prepping for this moment, like the wedding moment. And, you know, people are like, I'll take off a week for the honeymoon. But I was like, that is not enough time.
Not enough time for Europe.
This is the time to travel. You know, why do I work so hard? I want to go play too.
100%. So you're going right after the wedding? Or when do you leave?
We changed our wedding date from May 17th to June 7th. And June 7th was the last date that we actually could get married because I got Tim tickets for Christmas to see Rufus Du Sol in Barcelona on June 11th. And so I was like, this is like it. And he was like, when we were planning the honeymoon, he was like, oh, like Weevil's playing out there. Like, I really want to see him. We found out last night that Weevil is opening for Rufus.
Okay, another serendipitous karma moment for you.
What?
Is having like one of your favorite artists opening up for Rufus.
Like just being kismet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just had deja vu at this moment too. That was crazy.
I love it.
Wow.
That is so amazing. I'm so excited for you two. And you guys are going to have such a relaxing time and also like such an adventurous time. I think a lot of the times people think like honeymoons, you just have to be like sitting on your butt, like on an island, like not doing much. But hey, we're young. Like we love to adventure and explore.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
And also like, so I'm going to Mykonos and Santorini with Seth for the honeymoon. We're going to start off in Santorini and then go to Mykonos. So similar to you, like start off in more of a relaxing place and then end up like in more of a party spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always been on my bucket list, and Seth is on board, and he is one of those people that like gets a little bit nervous while traveling somewhere so far, but like I'm like getting him out of his comfort
He'll have his
zone.
wifey with him.
I know. I'm so excited to like be on the plane and like look down and see my wedding band and have him finally wear his wedding ring.
Yeah.
That is something I'm looking
show the world that that's your man.
to. And also he's inheriting his grandfather's ring. So it's like so meaningful.
That is so special.
And that ring is actually in my grandmother's jewelry box who passed away. So it's like going off of what we were talking about earlier with Judaism and like passing on the traditions and the generations, like it's so important to the faith. So like we're doing that on both sides with having his grandfather's ring in my grandmother's jewelry box like right now. So it's just like I can't wait to put the ring on his finger. I can't wait to like say the vows. There's so many things that we could talk about.
Have you written your vows yet?
Not yet. Have you?
I'll have like glimmers of things that Tim does that's really cute that makes me want to like bawl my eyes out, and then I'll write them in my notes app because I feel like I'll forget it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be saying the vows in the cathedral, which is interesting because I feel like if we were in nature, we'd be able to be a little bit more free with it. I'm still going to have fun with it.
Are you going to say your vows in front of everyone, or are you going to say them privately beforehand?
I think we're going to say them in front of everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to share love and sweet moments with the world, but it is different from the weddings that I have been.
I love that so much. It's so much more meaningful for you, but also for the guests too. We've been going back and forth of what we want to do, and I was only coming off surprised when you said that because I am a little nervous to say my vows in front of like everyone, not because I don't like love him with my entire heart, but just because I know that knowing me, I'm going to be pretty emotional.
Oh my gosh.
And so I don't want to be like, I don't want to be crying during them, but we probably will say them aloud because we both love public speaking too. And it's like something that we're good at. And I love writing. Like ever since I was a young girl, creative writing is like my biggest passion. So why wouldn't I do that in front of everyone?
And you know what? On the wedding day, if you do get nervous, you can do it with you too. Like life is or the wedding day is all yours. Like Tim doesn't want to do a garter toss.
Are you guys going to do that?
Oh my God. We were talking with our wedding planner yesterday, and I'm obviously doing a bouquet toss.
Yeah. Are you?
I want to do that for sure. I also have some other like cute little tricks and like special moments up my sleeve that I do want to wait till the wedding day to like have and like not tell like even my friends about our bridesmaids.
I love that.
But yeah,
how many bridesmaids do you have?
7.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, I have 5. Well, including my maid of honor.
I had more, but I was like, it's so hard, And I actually wanted to touch on this, but choosing your bridesmaids, I went with the girls that have impacted my life, who I felt closest with at the time that I got engaged, who were there for me and Tim's relationship and got to witness our love. That's how I chose the bridesmaids that I did. I could add another 5. I don't want to. Me and Tim have talked about it so many times that we're like, let's just stick with the originals. He also has 7.
Okay.
But it was really hard because I was like, I would love for so many girls to be up there with me.
Yeah.
But then I would have like 20.
Did you have anyone that was like, you didn't ask me to be a bridesmaid? I know I did.
Kind of, even if it wasn't said.
Yeah. I feel like mine was said.
Really? Oh, yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. But that's a really good moment to state why.
Yeah. I mean, also too, like you said, choosing people that like right now are like an integral part of your life and like you're, life with your person is probably the best way to go, and kind of the way that we went as well with our wedding party. But it's so hard too. And also it's so expensive for folks. So that's something that I kept in mind. And, it was a tough decision to make and to like narrow it down to a certain amount of girls. But in the end, that person, that was disappointed, like understood the decision and wants me to be happy. So it wasn't something that like severed our friendship or anything in that way.
Weddings are like, I don't have a better term for this, but they're like truth bombs where you like everything comes out. Who steps up for you, who wants to be involved, family, like everything like comes out on a wedding. And I think that the longer engagement gives you that buffer to like sort things out if you do need that extra time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's...
Because then you get to enjoy too, like the fun parts of being a bride and being in your bridal era and like leaning into that process of like wearing white and like, being a 2025 bride and like having fun with that without the pressures of making all the decisions right away. And then also like by the time that we do get married, for you in 30 days, for me in like less than 6 months, I feel like at that point we'll be like ready to be, we'll just be like, okay, yay, we're married. Like it's over. Like it will be sad, but I feel like I'll be good. Like
I'm kind of sad that it's going to be over.
Are
but
you?
But at the same time, it's like, okay, this marks us at a new chapter in our life. And, the next question that happens after that is like kids. And that's so crazy. But it's like, unless we be still and we be so present, and like even though we've been in an engagement for like 2 years, went by like that.
It did
like,
go by
how
quick.
to practice more presence and stillness, and I've been trying to meditate more and more and do more breath work. But truly, the more that we do it, the more we get to control time and slow it down and just like be,
What's your advice for me? Like I'm 5 months out from the wedding. Like, I'm assuming that as you get closer to the wedding, that there are more like sleepless nights, or not like just moments where you wake up in the middle of the night, like anxious or like worried about like minuscule details, or maybe that's not you. But what's your advice for brides out there like myself that are like anticipating those moments of like maybe panic even like before the wedding?
Give yourself grace in this time frame. I can't deny that I haven't had my moments of crying or being super stressed out. Have I been a bridezilla? No. It doesn't matter where you're at. Like, just give yourself the grace, and put in the work. I think having a wedding planner is a really important thing. I was ordering tapestry in Nashville, and that's when I like had my first breakdown. And Tim walks in, and he's like, "Babe, let's order a wedding planner.
Aww.
Let's hire
someone. Yeah.
Order a wedding planner.org." No, and our wedding planner is absolutely amazing. Like, I literally want to be best friends with her. She's helped this process a lot because it doesn't matter like how much you think you're a planner. I thought my mom was going to plan this out, my aunt, me, and like I had the whole girl squad. Life gets busy. My parents are literally moving across the country. So having somebody who this is their actual job to help you plan, just hire a wedding planner. It doesn't matter how big or small your wedding is.
Partial or full, like
it doesn't matter.
I think partial can help if you're someone that like is going to be planning it too. Like if you're someone that plans on not planning at all, then like full is definitely
obviously,
like
but
essential.
Everyone's so different. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's really, I think it just takes so much off your plate. And as you get closer, I'll wake up and I always have things that I like was thinking about that I need to get done. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I need to get this little thing done, or order custom signage, or what about the special things that I want to do for some of my family members and some of Tim's family members. That sometimes gets annoying because I'm like, oh my gosh, I could do so many things.
Yeah.
But
that's really poignant to say.
Yeah. And I'm doing something special. I'll share also with you after, but it's a time suck and it takes time, but it's something that is romantic and timeless and classic for all of my guests to experience. And it's a choice that I made to spend my time. I think I'm crazy for doing it now.
Are you having a DJ or a band?
We're having a DJ. We wanted to hire a band. We were for sure going to get a marching band in New Orleans. But one of our really dear friends, Michael, is going to be DJing. So, yeah.
Love that for you.
Yeah.
How amazing.
Yeah.
We're also doing a DJ, but
Are you having a band as well?
just a regular DJ. Just like a DJ that we hired that is really cool though. Like very, very, very good and very talented.
Get your playlist together. Understanding your first dance song, your dance with your dad if you're doing one, Seth's dance with his mom.
Do you have that all down?
Almost all of them. We're like finalizing our cake cutting song and then our entrance song. And those are moments, you know, it's like those little details, but they matter.
And also
you know?
little things too, like you need a table to put the cake on.
My mom called me on Monday and she's like, what's your table look like for the cake? And I was like, I didn't even think about that. So it takes a village.
Yeah, it does take a village. And I also think too, like, I know you were talking about taking a step away from social media, and I agree, but also like using social media as a tool to remember to do certain things, I think has been helpful. So I made a like
collage
kind of on Instagram.
Like
they have like a saved, like kind of like a Pinterest where I'm able to save different things that when I get closer to the date, I can look back and like rewatch those to see what I need to do. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. Well, I think we about covered everything. I have one more question for you. Okay. We love it.
Are you doing dance classes? This is an interesting topic to me.
I love that question. And I feel like one reason why I'm like getting like nervous even answering is because I don't know if we're doing dance classes or not.
Okay. And you still have time.
I'm not a good dancer choreographed. I'm not a great choreographed dancer. And I don't want to like manifest that for myself either, you know. But
I am is the most powerful statement you can make, Jenny. You
so
know that.
I am a good choreographed dancer. I am a good choreographed dancer, actually. So
okay, but we don't lie to ourselves.
So with that said, am I going to take dance class? Are we going to take dance classes? I feel like I want to. I'm going to see as we get closer how I'm feeling about it. I know Seth would be down. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like it might take some pressure off to just like choreograph some basic moves for the dance, but then also focus on just like a slow dance where we're just looking into each other's eyes. But yeah, I have a ton of things planned for the ceremony and the reception that are like really unique and like really creative and fun for us, like, and our wedding party that will make it like super fun. But I have like more time to think about it, I think.
Totally. Yeah. And
what about you?
Wedding planner should check that off.
Yeah.
Tim signed us up for a dance class.
Tim signed you guys up?
Yeah.
Did you ask him to?
No. So
my God.
On his walk to RCIA to church and the gym, he saw this studio. He's like, Tay, I really want us to take dance lessons here. And I was like, okay. We went and it was like very basic. It was basic for me, but he's a very beginner dancer in like ballroom. And I was like, I want to like just like dive in. So I actually met Lisa here who used to dance as a backup dancer for Michael Jackson. And she knows me, like we've done like Women's Day events together here. And I was like, Tim, like I'm telling you, like this is the girl to teach us. So I sent her the song. We went to the studio to learn the dance 2 weeks ago. We have 2 more lessons, which it's like time is ticking.
And how's it going?
Sure. I can pick it up like that. Tim's a little bit slower, but at the end of the 2-hour session, he was getting it. And we went to a Fish concert the day after that dance class. And it was so cute. He started like pulling out moves. And,
no
like,
way. I love that. Okay, that's going to be so fun. I feel like the crowd was going to love that.
And if you have a like referrals. If you have somebody that, you know, maybe knows you or that a friend said that, you know, they really felt like it was like them when their dance instructor made their dance. It adds this extra layer because like Lisa knows me and she added these moves in the dance to this song that I was like, this is so me. This is so us.
Oh, I love that. So, okay, maybe you need to give me the referral.
Yeah, she's amazing and it's been so fun. And I think it's an extra fun thing to do with your fiance, you know, on top of like the cake testing and like all the things. Like I'm such a proponent of like, just do all the things. Yeah. You know, we don't have to do everything, but do everything that like lights you up. You know, I wanted to do a cake testing, you know?
Aww.
So
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see all the pictures.
Girl,
and
same.
See like all the videos and everything. It's
We're
going to be
getting
such a beautiful
married.
day. We're going to the chapel and we're getting married.
Yes,
So,
amen, sister.
so excited. Well, thank you so much for being here. I had so much fun with this conversation, and I know we could just talk for hours. I appreciate you. And yeah, have the best wedding ever.
Thanks, Jenny. I love you, girl. I'm so excited for the
Love
both of
you.
us. We're going to be wifeys.
Wifey era to come.
Yes. Oh, yay.